It's not a toy and it's not a gimmick. And yet, somehow, it's one of the most unexpectedly useful tools I've added to my filmmaking gear this year. This thing, a soft, inflatable B-color light stick that's been sneaking its way into nearly every shoot I've done lately. And I get it. Inflatable light tube sounds like something from a Kickstarter campaign that shows up late and underperforms. But it's weird, practical, and kinda brilliant. And yes, extremely portable. Let me show you how this quirky little light keeps surprising me. For $92.99 you get the GC21B inflatable LED tube, a drawstring carry bag, a USB-C charging cable, and an air pump. Yes, an actual inflation pump. Now, that might sound a bit ridiculous at first, but trust me, it's a good thing. The bag feels like it came free with a kid's beach toy. It will hold the light for sure, but it feels cheap. I would prefer a fabric bag with a few compartments. The USB-C cable, it's short, like comically short. You will want to replace that immediately if you plan to use the light plugged in. But the pump, a surprisingly smart addition, because yes, you can inflate the light with your mouth, but should you? Probably not, because moisture from your breath inside the light can become a breeding ground for mold. Using the pump avoids this completely. Plus, it's also beneficial if different people want to use the light. They don't have to worry about hygiene. Inflating the tube fully takes around 30 seconds. Also, the valve has a great design. You don't have to rush to close it, because after inflating it can even hold the air without closing the valve cover. When you are done, you can use the valve button to release the air. In my opinion, the valve design shows that some thought went into this light. Once inflated, the GC21B transforms from a folded package barely thicker than a tablet to a 90 cm soft LED tube with a surprisingly robust feel. When deflated, it folds down to 22 by 12 by 2.5 centimeters. That's smaller than a hardcover book. It weighs around 270 grams, so lightweight that it almost feels like a prop. But once inflated and powered on, it becomes a serious lighting tool. The outer material is a soft touch rubberized plastic, similar to an inflatable cushion or travel pillow, but with a matte finish that reduces reflections. Inside is a flexible LED panel that emits soft and even light. At the back you will find the USB-C charging port, the LCD display, and the 5 buttons to control the brightness, color temperature, and the different light effects. There are also 4 embedded magnets, very strong ones, and a rubberized hook loop for hanging. These mounting options open up a lot of creative use cases. Let's talk performance. The GC21B has a variable color temperature between 2700 K and 6500 Kelvin. That means you can dial it from warm orange tungsten all the way to daylight and beyond. Brightness is rated at 1330 lux at half a meter. In real-world testing, I even got between 1400 to 1500 lux, depending on the surroundings. It also has a CRI of 95+, which means color reproduction is accurate and neutral. I didn't get any unnatural tones out of it, like my usual LED light strip, which seems to be magenta on camera. This is a soft light by design. The front surface acts as a built-in diffuser, so while it doesn't throw the light very far, it wraps beautifully around the subject. Whether you're lighting a face, a product, or a background detail, it just adds character. By the way, currently it's at 25% and it's already this bright on camera. When I turn it up to 100, I already get blown out highlights. But let me show you a comparison between my LED panel and this stick light. Here is my compact LED panel. Bright, directional, but also a bit more harsh. Now here's the GC21B, around the same brightness and the same angle. Look at the difference and fall off. The tube light wraps around the face more gently, creating a softer shadow. The catch light in the eyes is longer and more natural. For me, the GC21B isn't a replacement for all lights, but in some cases it's often the better choice. I took the GC21B on a few outdoor shoots. It's not waterproof, but it's surprisingly rugged. The USB-C port is covered by a rubber cap that helps with splash protection. I used the built-in magnets to stick it to a rusty light pole for a night shoot. It held firm, no tape, no clamps needed. Then I hung it from a tree branch using the plastic hook for an evening interview, and it gave me a soft ambience without flicker and no issues. These small details make it a real world light and not just something you can use in a studio with a light stand. Now let's address the warning on the back. Danger, high temperature. Yes, the light does get warm, especially if you're running it at full brightness for over 30 minutes. But in all my use it never got dangerously hot, just a little toasty. Enough to notice, but not enough to be concerning. That said, I wouldn't use it tucked into fabrics or left touching paper surfaces while being on full power. Just give it some airflow and you will be fine. Here's a basic studio test I ran. Product shot, black background and camera level with the table. The subject, a stainless steel smartwatch. Let me teach you quickly how to do awesome product shots. Hold the light about your subject and then slowly move it from the back to the front. This lets the highlights play across the different surfaces. There's just something about long continuous soft light that makes metallic objects look premium. This isn't just useful, it's actually inspiring to work with. Now let's talk about a bit of an unusual use case of this light. If you're working from home and you have lots of professional meetings, a simple lighting setup like this can make you seem way more professional, especially if you're working in the video sector. The GC21B placed just off axis at even 30% brightness will make you look miles better on camera. And because it's inflatable, you can stash it in a drawer when you're done. Try that with a desk lamp. So who's the GC21B actually for? Well, here it's where it gets interesting. For YouTubers and content creators. Talking head, B-roll, ambient backlight, this light can do all of it without taking up too much space. For photographers, whether you are shooting food, lifestyle or product, this is an amazing light to add shape and separation. For filmmakers and documentary shooters, this light is lightweight enough to travel with it, and it's also soft enough to do some interviews, and it's fast to set up. Remote workers who need great video quality in their video calls, they can just add the light and it helps their little webcam to get a huge improvement in quality. And of course product reviewers. If you shoot small objects in front of a dark background and use the techniques I showed you before, you can achieve high quality B-roll shots. This light is for everybody who wants a better light quality and doesn't want to deal with light stands, cables and big softboxes. As much as I love this light, it's not perfect. Let's talk gripes. The bag is basically useless. I always put the light folded up into my backpack without the bag. I don't have the patience to fiddle it out every time, especially when the bag feels that cheap. The USB-C cable is an afterthought. It's too short to use the light plugged in. If you only use it in battery powered mode, okay, but if not, you should swap it out. I think most of us have tons of USB-C cables lying around. And sadly, the light has no remote or app control. You can't adjust it from a distance and everything is manual. You have to walk up to the light to change the settings, especially if you hang it somewhere with the magnets you cannot reach controls. That said, none of these are deal breakers. For the price, I didn't really expect them, but I think it's worth mentioning them. At first glance, this light seems like a gimmick. It's inflatable, it's soft, and it's powered by USB-C, and it comes with a pump. But after a month of use, it's one of the tools I'm reaching for again and again. Not because it's fancy, but because it's practical. It sets up fast, it looks good, and it works every time. And of course, it costs under €100. If I lost this tomorrow, I'd probably buy it again. And I can't say that about all my camera gear. So here's the big question, should you buy it? If you're looking for an ultra compact, soft and reliable light, yes. If you want RGB, remote controls and an app integration, probably not. You need to look somewhere else. But if you're like me, bouncing between shoots and constantly balancing between quality and portability, then the GC21B is a budget-friendly upgrade to your lighting kit. It's weird, kind of clever and it works. Thanks for watching. Kurz aufpumpen.